Okay, we're back. It's our video. Everything went perfect the first time, but we restarted the video for no reason, and we happen to have a program that we can work with. So here's our program where we're going to write our myStringLength function, and we played around with malloc for a little bit. And I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to now do a malloc. And I'm going to put into that location hello, and I'll put in the location s+10 world. And let me just make a printer function. Okay, so this is just going to print what's in memory, and I'm just going to print out the 20 bytes. By the way, you guys did something very similar to this, right? Where you wanted to print stuff with tabs and columns and rows. And so this is the logic that I would use to have it be that every time I get to the fifth thing, I do a new line. So some had logic like this, some had other logic, but this is the logic that makes sense to me. I'm printing the character, what's in memory, as both an integer and as a character, and actually let me print it as a pointer as well. So this is, let's just call this instead not print memory. So when we call malloc, and I say print memory to the return value, I'm going to take out this while one. By the way, I have in today's lecture, and I'm clearly not going to make it there, but I have stuff on what #include means too, so we're finally ready to talk about that. So I'll say that I want 30 bytes. And so now it's printing out to me, for me, here are my 30 bytes. It's printing them 6 at a time. And we can see that our bytes are increasing, C0, C1, C2, C3, C4. This is the integer value at what's at that byte, so we'd see numbers between 0 and 255, and then we're printing it as a character, and 0 prints as a null character as nothing. But here's some other stuff. Here's 48, and we learned from 2C that 48 is ASCII 0, so when we print it as a character we get 0. Here's 77. We knew that A was 65, so it makes sense that 77 is an M. So we're just printing the contents of random memory here, okay? So now I'm going to do this again. We add a couple extra printfs at the end. But I'm going to copy some stuff in there. A hello and a world, and a location at the beginning of S and 10 characters in. So now the first time through, I've got a bunch of zeros in random memory, and here's like a 100, which is a D. And the second time through, I can see for the same memory locations, the same addresses, we've got now H, E, L, L, O. And this was a 0 before, but it's still a 0. And then if you go 10 characters in, WORLD. And this was actually, see, CF before was a -48, which is, I guess, is a question mark, but now CF has been overwritten with a null character. Okay? Is this interesting? Good? Okay. So, so we're just kind of inspecting memory and setting memory. Now let me do my string length command. So I'll make a counter for length, and I'll do this. While s of length does not equal the null character, length plus plus, return length. Let's just put an s plus 2 in there, or s plus 12 as well. So I think if I run this, I'll get all the right stuff. That the length of s, which points to HELLO, is 5. S plus 10, which is WORLD, is also 5. And s plus 12, which I guess is going to be there, R, is 1, 2, 3. Okay? But if we go into this my string length, you know, we can see what's happening here, right? Looking at character at location %p, which has int value %d and car value %c. And so now as we're walking through here, we can compile it and run it. And we can see it's just walking from C0 to C1 to C2 to C3 to C4, and it sees HELLO, and then it stops and returns a length of 5. And then we can make this more complicated. So we can actually do this and say while s of length, because that's the same as saying, well, it's not the null character. And you'll even see logic like this, where it is, say, while the value of s is not null, and then you increment the pointer. So this is actually the same, and you'll see code like this sometimes where people are dereferencing the pointer to get the value at that pointer. So it gives all the same values, but now we're incrementing that pointer to look at different locations. So this command right here is the same as s equals s plus 1, which is doing pointer arithmetic. You know, as we look at the s value, it's just incrementing 1 by 1. Okay, I didn't do very well on malloc so far. Hopefully this is interesting about string manipulation. Are people interested by this video? Any questions? Okay, let's stop this one before I screw up somehow.